Hi guys, it is almost dinner at Casa Perez and we are going to have a thrown together penne seafood Alfredo, my style. I don't really like cheese sauce on seafood. I like the Alfredo sauce over chicken, but I really don't like a rich sea sauce over seafood. I like the seafood to taste like what it's supposed to taste like, but I wanted some kind of sauce. So I'm going to use some cream cheese and butter and milk along with this awesome Red Lobster seafood seasoning. We're just going to make a real quick pseudo Alfredo. We're going to toss my shrimp and these crab delights that I'm so happy are back on the shelves. Have a few little frozen peas in there for texture, and I just love frozen peas with seafood, and some leftover penne that I had from the day before. So we're going to get all this tossed around in a skillet and make that. And then for dessert, I'm going to use the last bit of reserve cream cheese. I'm going to fluff it up with a little bit of confectioner's sugar and nutmeg. I'm going to slice up these little peaches before they go bad. They're still super sweet and delicious, but I want to eat them a different way. And then we're just going to drizzle them with honey. So let's get to cooking. Okay, so if y'all know me at all, y'all know I'm an eyeball cook. I cook mainly by sight. So I'm just gonna dump in some margarine. This is gonna clog up your arteries, okay? I'm gonna melt that down a little bit with my milk. Didn't use all of it. I might need a little bit more. So I'm gonna let that melt down before I add in a nice hunk of this cream cheese. I want to leave a little bit for the plums. So my margarine and milk are bubbling. I'm just going to drop in these little hunks of cream cheese. I broke up the chunk into hunks so it'll melt a little faster. And this is pretty fast, but you don't want your milk to burn. You don't want a bunch of weirdness happening in the pot. So just keep an eye on it and stir. And while that's going, I am going to go ahead and drop in my leftover pasta just real quick into this pot of boiling water. I don't want to overcook it and then they become mushy and split, but I don't want to drop a bunch of cold food into the hot sauce because I don't want curdles and weird things happening. The seafood, it has been defrosting at room temperature, so I'm just going to leave this here to heat through just like that. I salted the water a little bit, so I'm going to let my sauce go before I dump in my seafood and season it all with my Red Lobster sauce. And we'll have a one skillet meal. Okay, I got my sauce nice and warm and a few little bubbles are coming up, and I don't want it to get too thick. Now at this point, if you want it thick, so be it. If you want to thin it out a little bit, so be it. I don't want a super thick sauce, but I do want everything coated. So I'm comfortable with this. So I'm going to go ahead and put in all the defrosted goodness in there. And because everything is already cooked, except the peas, you don't want to leave it in too long because you don't want rubbery shrimp and smashed peas and all your little crab chunks to fall apart. So give this a good toss. I have my heat at medium. This is how I melted my cheese. So we're just going to give that a good toss. I'm going to cover it. Sorry about my arm. And let it cook for just a little bit. Just let it saute just a little bit, and then we'll add our pasta. Okay, I've given it a few minutes. I got it all mixed up. Now I'm going to add this awesome Red Lobster seasoning and a whole bunch of black pepper, because whether I'm eating a mock or a real Alfredo, I love pepper on it. So stir it up again, nice and yummy. I didn't do garlic or anything because the last time that I used this seasoning, I had left out the garlic from my mushrooms, and I was like all disappointed because I thought it was going to taste bland. Guys, this seasoning is friggin' awesome. So I'm gonna let that go for just a few more minutes. Then we put pasta in. So at this point that it's nice and bubbly, I dump in my just heated through pasta. Make sure you drain, get back in there. Make sure you drain the pennes good because they hold a lot of water in their little tubes and you don't want all that water to get in your sauce. So I am going to give this a stir. The sauce is still thin enough that it'll coat everything. I already tasted it and it's seasoned perfect. Again, everything is already cooked, so you don't want to let it go too long because you don't want a big skillet full of mush. But this is it. I am going to put the heat on low and let this simmer while I make our dessert. Let's go do that. Okay. So all I'm going to do with my peaches is peel them. You don't have to peel them if you don't want, but sometimes the skin gets a little tough. And I personally don't like that. I like to get right to the sweet of it all with the plum. So I'm going to do a quick peel on all of them. Then I'm going to slice them. And these are super, super ripe. So trust me when I tell you I'm not going to have a uniform, lovely slice. But it makes all the better when you stick your spoon into the cream cheese yumminess of it all to get a nice squishy scoop of soft plum. So let me get these peeled and I'll be back. I could always blanch these and the skin would peel right off like a tomato, but then my plum would be hot and I don't like that. I like this particular dessert cool right out of the refrigerator. So it's up to y'all. Y'all could make it warm, but it's more like a pudding this way. So yeah, look how pretty the color is. Ooh, it reminds me of the tunas. Look at that. Look how pretty that is. Okay, so as y'all know, a plum has a pit in it. So we got to get around that sucker. And because these are so ripe, I'm going to go ahead and make my little slices around it this way and then just peel them apart. I think I want dessert first, guys. Very squanchy, very sweet, very delicious little overripe plums. These aren't the big purple ones you see at the grocery stores. These were young red little plums that I got at ooh, don't throw these pits away. That I got at 99-cent only. For those of you that have a 99-cent only or who might be a little cringy about 99-cent only food, you guys, it's perfectly good food. You just got to check your dates on your canned and you know, this one's super soft. Got to check your dates on your canned and boxed items. But for the most part, the produce is amazing. You just have to eat it within a few days. Sometimes you get real lucky and stuff is really, really fresh. And you can wait. You can enjoy it a little longer. These plums I've actually had for 2 weeks. So I've been eating on them, snacking on them, and I really, really like them. But I wanted to get rid of them. I'm going to go back tomorrow and see what other produce they have. So I thought I'd clean out my fridge a little bit with this lunch. But are they pretty? Heck no. But I told y'all they weren't going to be. Now we're going to make the fluff for it. So the fluff consists of a little cream cheese. This is what was left of my little bar. Depending on how sweet you want it. Some powdered sugar. Now, y'all know powdered sugar goes a long way, so be careful with it. My nutmeg. I love figs and plums with nutmeg. Some of y'all might be like, what the heck, Mel? You're not going to cook down or heat up the nutmeg? It's just going to be raw in there? Yes, it is. So, got my little whiskey, and I'm going to mush all my sugar in there with the cream cheese so I can get an idea of whether I want to add more sugar or not. Get out of there. Then I'm going to do something you guys might not be ready for, but it's the way my mommy did it forever and ever. So hang on, a little more sugar. Whoops, made a mess. Hang on. Okay, now you can use milk, get in there, if you like, to help cream it together, but I do a little sploosh of orange juice. The smell of nutmeg always takes me back to Thanksgiving and Christmas, and we use a lot of this kind of stuff. At Thanksgiving and Christmas, we do our candied yams with orange juice. We do our spiced apples with a little bit of orange juice. So I'm going to beat this until it's nice and fluffy, and I'm going to add orange juice as I go and taste as I go to make sure it's sweet and spicy enough. So I'll be right back. So I have added a little more spice, a little more sugar, a little more OJ as I go, and I'm tasting. And guys, this might seem weird to some of y'all, but I'm telling y'all, the acidity of the OJ with the twang of the cheese and the sweet of the sugar and the final sweet of the honey, oh man, it's such a nice combo. So now we're going to put our little mini trifle together. Where's my spatula? This is what I do. Let's get dirty, but it's going to be pretty. Now, if I had graham crackers, trust me when I tell you, I would crumble some graham crackers down here. At this point, guys, to make it a real trifle, you can add cubes of pound cake or lady fingers or any kind of little cakey bottom. But I don't have any graham crackers, so I'm just going to put my little cream cheese down here. You'll see what I'm doing? Okay. Then we're going to drop in some plummies right on top. Okay. Ooh, I don't know what I want first. My pasta or my plums. Then we're going to dump the rest of the cheese on top. Waste not, want not. That's why I like a spatula, because it scrapes everything out. Okay. Get in there, get in there. I'm using my fingers because I'm the only one eating it. Okay. My plums. And then, you know what? Don't waste none of this, guys. You see all this? Put it in there. Put it in there. That's nature's candy. Okay. Now, get out of there, little seed thing. All we're going to do now is drizzle it with just a little bit of honey. Any honey you want. You don't even need to use honey if you don't want it. A little drizzle. Okay? Now, I'm going to set this in the fridge. So it'll be nice and cool when I get into it, and we're going to sit down and have pasta. And I think you and I and all of us need to chismolear and gab and get to the nitty-gritty of what the heck I've been going on. So let's do that too. So there you have it, guys. My leftover put together 1 skillet penne Alfredo and my little plum trifle. I'm going to go eat. If y'all try it, I hope y'all like it. And I love y'all bunches. Bon appetit, y'all.